Welcome back, everybody, to Brown Bag Bets, powered by BetSports. We are your daily dose of quick hit handicapping and sports betting picks. I'm Alex Christensen, and joining me, as always, Mr. Andy Molliner. And I know Andy's just about as pumped as anybody. The NBA's back, Andy.
It is. My slumber puppies are in action. Drew and I spent like an hour and a half last night going over a bit of a reset. Filled me. It was good for me because I don't follow along as closely as obviously someone who handicaps and bets the association every day. So it was nice to kind of get a bit of a reset. If you need a little catch up, that was a good episode. Maybe I'll put some timestamps in there too. And FanDuel had, and I'm sure other places had adjusted win total markets for not every team. For some reason, they didn't list Phoenix, and I didn't count to see if they had other teams out. But Drew seemed to think there's some value in a couple of those. At the end of the podcast, he gives out a few that he thought were definite plays, including my Atlanta Hawks.
Your Atlanta Hawks.
I just love a team with an easy schedule. Like I can always get on board with a team with an easy schedule. So Drew says
You know who your Hawks are playing tonight?
Oof. Are
Do you
they?
know who your Hawks are playing tonight?
I honestly I don't check into that sort of thing.
Your Chicago Bulls.
Oh God. I need them both to it. I've put myself in a corner with negative correlation. Although I did think about taking a Bulls under 49 and a half, finding a nice cute middle on that. But yeah, the NBA is back. It's kind of nice. Like it's not all at once. There's a bunch of games today. There's a bunch of games tomorrow. What is it? 6, 7, 8 tonight? I'm trying to look. There are 7.
Yeah, seven tonight.
And I hope. What did you first off before we get into picks? Did you find anything for me? The Rube who just wants to bet a narrative and bet every over, every dog, or what's my Rube narrative for a parlay?
So I went back and looked, and home favorites and home team total overs. That's what you should be looking for. Home favorites the last 3 years in their first games after the All-Star break, hitting a little over 60%. Team total overs a little over 61% for home teams. And again, that's home teams regardless of whether they're dogs or favorites. Dogs hitting only about 50% at home, but a little better than road dogs, which are, I think, less than 40%. So, yeah, look for home teams. Don't mind favorites. And then overs. Overs were pretty good as well. So, overs and favorites, all the easy stuff you probably would have done anyway if you were square.
Yeah, 7-leg NBA. I'm trying to say this without vomiting. NBA totals teaser. I could not make it through that. Oof, that hurt my
Don't
heart.
tease basketball. Don't tease basketball. Don't
ever.
Don't even joke about it. Well, Andy's like to joke about it, but don't tease basketball.
It hurt my heart. It physically, it made me physically ill. I'm gonna have. This is gonna be like my flu game, getting through the rest of the show now. You did bet tonight, though. We finally have NBA picks. They're back. Would you have 3, 4 team total?
A little 3-pack here, and
no sides, huh?
Again, I followed kind of what I found is, again, I don't not blindly betting these just because team total overs at home are good and things like that. But, angles that I was kind of looking for and all lined up with my numbers here. We'll start with the Cavaliers and Pistons. Again, don't love the Cavaliers injuries here. They're going to be missing Garland and LeVert. But it looks like Markkanen's going to play, so they should have enough offense between him and Kevin Love here against a Pistons teams that, is going to have some guards that should have a good night tonight. Again, I had this closer to 212 myself, so 208, 209 looks good to me. The Cavaliers' offense has been a little bit better, and the Pistons continue to get better. Maybe the Pistons coming out here and lay an egg. The young guys maybe not necessarily as focused to start, but again, it should be a good night for overs, and I think this is a really nice spot. Now, we mentioned the Hawks-Bulls game, and I know that you're kind of looking at the Hawks here for the second half of the season, which I think is a pretty good look. Honestly, I'm going back and I looked at some of my futures that I had before the season. I might add a little bit more, but I've got some Hawks futures that I don't feel so terrible about that maybe a month ago I wasn't super thrilled. But tonight the Hawks visit the Bulls. The Bulls continue to be without, their top line defensive guards in Lonzo Ball and Alex Caruso. But Zach LaVine should be back tonight, and the Bulls should be back to just scoring 120, 125, 130 points, whatever number they can put up here. The Hawks without John Collins, are going to be a little bit suspect. Yes, DeAndre Hunter's playing, which makes a little bit of a difference. Thought about the total game over here, but the Bulls team total over seemed kind of like a stronger angle for me. Again, I had them closer to 123 points, so 119, 120. I'll take the team totals over there. And then the Timberwolves over 118.5. I know some of our sharper friends actually have some bigger plays here on the Timberwolves +3. It's all the way down to 1.5, but you can still grab this team total over. It's a team that, when fully healthy, puts up a ton of points. They're going against a Memphis Grizzlies team that has some nice defensive pieces, but overall plays at a quicker pace and gives up a bunch of points. I mean, again, thought about an over here, but I just like this spot for the Timberwolves a little bit better. I had them at 122 points, so 118, 119. We'll take the team total over there. So one game over, two team total overs. The NBA's back. I'm excited. James Harden might be playing tonight.
Oh God, that would be exciting for because again, as I mentioned 1,000 times, going to the game tomorrow. Didn't realize Timberwolves were on a back to back. Now coming off the All Star game, there's not really a chance of resting players for a back to back coming off a 5 day break, right?
Probably
Like
not. And I
I'm not going to
lied.
get up there and
Six.
Cat's going to be benched.
Yeah, I lied. The Sixers are going to play tomorrow, but no, the Timberwolves should be fine. They're not going to bench those guys back to back. You should be all right.
Yeah, you're coming off a big break. I would be pissed if I drove up to the Twin Cities and I didn't get to see my star players. And
You'll
yeah,
get to
maybe
see Big
maybe I will
Cat.
be maybe I'll be in attendance for the triumphant return, not return, the triumphant I don't know, first look in a Sixers jersey for my James Harden, the beard, first time for Philly. Be interesting to see. Hopefully Philly loses by 1,000 points. Now that my fandom is back. I'm a big fan now. Might even buy a hat today. Might go to Lids. Who knows? College basketball's back. I had a nice night. Didn't even give a shit that the Wyoming total stayed under by 100 points. Right off the bat, that was dead. Like
You're
I
going to
got a
lose
mad.
by a lot.
Yeah, I hate not they're sweating it because the other two totals when I popped them on while we were doing deep dive and I looked and the one was over 133 and the live total was well into the 150s. The other was over 140 and the live total was almost 160. So it's nice to just check those and see like, hey, we're cruising. Both sides got there as well. So nice 4-in-1 day. Can't complain about that. I will not have a 4-in-1 day today because I played 11 games. I was a little disconcerted by this, but I have to trust my numbers. I did double checks and due diligence on a lot of this. There's a few situational angles that maybe other people might be looking to be playing the opposite of me on these for some of the things that you have at the end of the season as we get towards conference tournament time. But again, not going to sit here and give narratives and reasons for 11 different plays. I'm just going to read them and talk about some of the problems that might go wrong with these plays. So you can, maybe a little devil's avocado just in case. Youngstown State +7. I love this. I'm fine with it. Temple +12. Memphis might be good again.
My
Memphis might
Temple
be,
Owls.
yeah, Memphis might be a problem. Temple Owls, right there in the the beautiful city of Philadelphia. IUPUI +7.5. Big problem here would be that they have like 6 players on the roster, and if they get in foul trouble, they might be finishing a game like the Hoosiers, and not the Indiana Hoosiers, the Hickory Huskers, where they put just 4 players out on the end with Gene Hackman. So
Yeah, you're not
always a
allowed to do
always a
that.
worry with a really light roster, but it's still they're playing a very bad team. IUPUI is such a bad squad, but it's too many points. Green Bay +8. Again, just don't care. Love this one. They're a really bad team, but they're playing another really bad team, and they shouldn't be this big of a dog. Montana, I'm fine with, and St. Francis, New York. There is a little bit of a narrative around Bryant and Wagner fighting for the conference title. But again, Bryant getting the win doesn't mean they need to cover. If they want to fight for a conference title, a regular season title, they don't need to cover. It's not ATS. It'll always just be win-loss record. So not super worried there. And then a couple of these are on the move. A couple of these I actually got a little later than I would have liked, thanks to some early meetings, and I missed some of the best of the numbers. But I still like these. I actually had 3 more totals I had to cross off because they got steamed the bejesus belt before I could get to them. And sometimes that happens with small totals when limits are super low on some of these extra games, and if somebody hits them pretty hard, I just can't get to it, and I don't get the best of the number. But Seattle over 140, Belmont over 144.5. That is I think Dan said I played a game where there's a ranked team for another. I don't often do that, but he said there's a ranked team for me here. So Belmont over 144 and a half, Idaho under 143 and a half, Irvine over 129 and a half, and then this is an extra game for sure. Houston Baptist under 144.5. And Dan says, yes, it's the third time of the season I've played a game with a ranked team in it. Belmont's playing a ranked Murray State team. You know when the last time Murray State was ranked, Alex?
When John Morant played there,
Yeah, probably just I cannot confirm that. I will just assume that is
I'm not even
correct.
sure they were ranked.
That was I'm not sure they were either,
They
but it was
must
a
have
really
been for a little while.
it was a really fun team, and they were a really good team in conference play. I feel like Liberty was also really good that year, and it was like a really good 3-game set they had between the two regular season matchups, and probably was the finals of the tournament. But 11 plays for me. That's it. Drawing the line there. Hopefully, you know what? 7-4. That's what I want. That's what I'm shooting for. I don't know which 4 losses are going to be on there, but hopefully you skip those.
That'd be good if you have figured out a system for knowing when Andy's going to lose. Let us know. That will not only help Andy, we can help everybody else. It's just better for the ecosystem.
I would
It's
like
a
that
talent and
also.
skill to know when you're going to lose
I
or
would,
to
yeah, I
avoid
would
those
also.
losses.
Sometimes people battle that they play. I think those probably go about 50-50 though. So, yeah, a lot of picks today. Picks heavy. And we have tennis in 2 different countries for you. 2 different countries, 2 different continents. Left a T out there completely. But you can't spell WTA without a T. And Alex's picks in Doha and Guad today. What's cracking?
Yeah, Doha will be. This one actually starts just shortly after the show. Although, again, it depends on time. The way tennis works, they kind of stack all the matches here, and luckily they're all on the same court. So the time of this keeps getting pushed back. I'm actually going to take a look here because, although we'll see, Ostapenko is out here. It looks like she might just win again this weekend, Andy. She's up 6-2 in the first set, closed that out, and is serving now to start the second. So looks like this will start at 12:30 Eastern. No earlier than that, but 12:30 Eastern. Arena Sabalenka playing Iga Swiatek. Sabalenka plays very well on these courts. Defending champion, I believe, here, despite all the worries and concerns that she had about her serve and in the Australian Open and just beforehand, has started to work through those a little bit and is just looking much, much sharper. And again, when she's playing well, she is arguably the best player on tour. She lacks consistency. It's always been a problem for her, but she has these swings where she can sort of hold it together. Iga has been less than impressive this week, just not a great spot for her. So I have Sabalenka minus 145, almost minus 150 here. So minus 135 or better looks good. There's some minus 130s out there. And then this one will actually be tomorrow, probably tomorrow afternoon. So you've got some time to bet this, but looks like it might be a little bit on the move. Let's grab an under, a rare under here for me in Shvedlova versus Wang Jiang at 21 and a half games. Wang Jiang kind of snapping back into some form that we saw in 2019, 2020. In general, plays very quick sets, very quick matches. I think the only way we lose this, honestly, is if it goes 3 sets. Now, knock on wood, that might happen, but they play such quick sets. We might have a shot at hitting this in 3. If so, grab under 21 and a half at minus 15 or better. Under 21, if you got some plus money on that, that's probably worth a sprinkle. The push is fine for the extra little bit of money there. But again, really like this spot for the under. I would have this at 20 and a half. So 21 and a half, all looks good to me. Again, Doha, Sabalenka, grab this sooner rather than later. That'll be today. And then Shmedlova, Wong, that'll be tomorrow. You've got some time.
And yeah, we do have just as Doha is being played currently, we have the men in action in Dubai, and Patrick says Joker's on the ropes.
Yeah, I'm pulling up the score here just to double check, but
I
yeah,
forgot
Jan
about
Vesely
Santiago.
looking like Jan Isner, but couple break points here for Djokovic as Vesely tries to serve out the second set. Vesely again up a set, saves the first break points. We have one more break point for Djokovic to save the match, if you will.
Have you seen, and this is rhetorical, I know you have, I hope you have, the Tom Hanks Carrie Fisher vehicle, the Burbs?
Oh yeah.
So the neighbors that move in, the younger one, the redheaded guy who just wears like a tank top all the time. That's who I think of when I think of Jerry Vesely. They look They look so alike. I think he might have been involved in that video. Look up Jerry Vesley and then look up the, I don't know, redheaded guy from the Burbs. I'm gonna go find these afterwards. Either way, well, that was such a non sequitur,
Wow.
such a weird way to go with that.
I remember Yuri Vesey looking like such a hick.
He just is unkempt with it. Some of it, sometimes
I
the
just found the
facial hair and
redheaded
the
guy.
way
Hey, he's got that real
the way
bad.
his mouth is open. Um, I put out a golf article last night. I tweeted it out. If you were looking for golf picks, I will always tweet those out on Wednesday evenings when I get finished with them. A couple of my matchups have already started for today. I did play some daily matchups. I think one's winning, one losing. So maybe you're not missing out on much. Who knows? Maybe they both lose. Maybe they both win. It kind of comes down to how Billy Horschel plays here, but yeah, Glover over Thompson looks good. Lowry over Horschel looks bad. So probably a 1-1 on the early ones, and then I did play one in the afternoon. These guys will tee off in about an hour from when right now when we're talking live. Gary Woodland over Matt Jones. Matt Jones is a bit of a fade for me here, and he's had some success of late, I guess, and people seem to lump on him here. I think his ownership in some of the DFS is fairly high. It looks like yeah, it was lower for the Genesis. He was a big Sony guy. He played well at the Genesis. He played well at the Century. There's people that like him awful lot, and he is good putting on Bermuda. But I decided to fade him here at a dog price. Getting Woodland at this price was a bit too much. How I rank these two men and their overall golf games over 18 holes. A lot of variance. I do like dogs. I do like laying strokes with these. So Gary Woodland over Matt Jones. It's the only one that's left on the card. Like I say, they tee off at 11:40 a.m. Gosh, is this? Hopefully that's Central Time. If it's not, they tee off like 5 seconds ago.
I
Hmm.
have no idea. I rely on you for this.
Yeah, I never know with these apps. Some of the golf apps will do, um, local time. Some of them will do your time. I don't like it when it's local time. I don't care. I don't live in Palm Gardens Beach, Florida. I don't.
Got to do the
I
math.
would like
You
to
know, it's
today. It's
tough.
cold as shit out. 12:40
It's true.
Eastern. So it is 12:40 Eastern. Thank you, Dan, for confirming. You have about 50 minutes. Good, good, good. Um, Europa.
Speaking of
That
stuff
just
that
leaves.
happens soon,
Yeah, this just leaves Europa. I don't know when do these start. I just assumed it was like
real
2
soon.
p.m. I
Well, I
just
don't know what
assumed it was
team does
always.
this. So I'm going to be honest. Let's see. Olympiacos. When does Olympiacos? Olympiacos is just after the show, about 45 minutes after the show, quarter to
Oh
1
man.
Eastern time, quarter to noon your
Yes.
time.
So there are a bunch of Europa. It's not the same as Champions League where there's these smaller knockout chunks of 2 games a day. Europa is the worser one. And we talked a little about Dortmund, how they, lost a tiebreaker to stay out of the knockouts. That sucked for them. But I did play a couple. It's the same as Champions League last week. Like I did well one day, so I just go back to the well the next day. We saw how that went. I think I went 0-2, but got an anytime goal scorer yesterday. He wasn't able to get the first goal scored, but hopefully, I don't know. I don't tell you how to stake, but when you're betting the same guy for first goal scorer and anytime goal scorer, I would assume you don't go the same size stake. I go smaller on the bigger number, just in case. And then if he does get the first time goal scorer, you win like 2 units, something like that. But in the later game, I am gonna pick on Marco Royce for Dortmund with Holland out, and he's kind of he's not second fiddle. Yeah, he is. Holland's maybe the best player in the world. Christ, I'll just say it, but he is second fiddle when he's on. Holland's got a hip injury. We're we're sitting here in a spot where they're down 2 goals on aggregate in the second leg. They need to play a little wide open. Dan kind of hit it on the head when we were talking about this before the match. Like they might concede a few here too. If they're going to play wide open, they have a bad back line there. It might not get there in the first goal scorer. So I am going to tickle that a lot later. But I do think plus 135 for a goal is a nice little price for the best player on the pitch and somebody who's going to be seeing a lot more shots on goal with Erling sitting, not even making the trip to Scotland as this will be played against the Rangers. Is that what we're doing? This is in Glasgow. And the other one is in Greece. Greece and Glasgow for me. I went out of order here if you're looking at it on the screen, but I did pull up the Atalanta match right away. When I see that name, I pop it on to look at the situation because I love those Atalanta overs. I don't think this is a game that merits it, even though it's only a 2.5. Maybe I'm dead wrong, and this game is a fun, wide open, game of that nature. But Atalanta has a few injuries, including some decent players. They haven't played well of late in league play either. So I'm going to take an Olympiacos straw no bet at plus 158. Some books list this as pick. Essentially,
Yeah, +0.
if you bet the soccer markets, it's this team wins, or they tie. It's a three-way market. This is a two-way market. This would be the same as any other sport that allows ties, offering a two-way market where if the game ends as a tie, a draw at the end of 90 minutes, then your bet is just returned to you. So a team must win the game for this bet to be graded. So Olympiacos, the Greek side, the home side, draw no bet plus 155, 158, somewhere around there. And that one is the one that starts at 12:45 Eastern. That's it.
That's it. That's all we got.
NBA, college hoops, tennis, golf, Europa. Like and subscribe. Hey, do me a favor.
We got you
If
covered
you are
from now, I
watching,
think, all night, basically.
yeah, you're covered from like right now with tennis, golf, and soccer, and then the afternoon you'll have some soccer, and then college basketball, and then the NBA will fire up. You're good for like the next 12 hours, essentially. I think that's a lot of fun. And if you are watching on YouTube, do me a solid, hit the subscribe button. I don't ask for that enough. That helps a lot out. Helps out with the numbers. Makes me look good. Makes Alex look good. It just helps. Thanks a
We
lot.
appreciate it.
We do appreciate it. And for me and Mr. Christensen, we bid you adieu. We'll see you on Friday.